Abyss Coffee is a specialty coffee brand. We're basically roasting for other cafes, other people, and also our own brand. So people can come here and experience what we do. And we started, I guess, officially in October, so 6 months ago. And I've been roasting for 7 years now. And yeah, it's specialty coffee, but the name Abyss was a more matter of this coffee world is this ongoing world into the abyss. And when you're roasting, you're basically trying to see what every coffee cherry has, what grains in it, and just dive in to see what's in there. And it's like this never-ending cycle. So that's where the name came from. So my name is Pear, not really, but that's what my nickname is. And I'm Canadian, and I moved here 8 years ago, actually April 1st. And before that, I was working in action sports, so snowboarding, skateboarding and whatnot, a specialized industry as well. Then I left Vancouver, went traveling, and it ended up here in Barcelona because it's beautiful and lovely weather. So I was trying to reinvent myself, and I'd always had a passion for coffee. And when I was traveling a lot, I was spending a lot of time in cafes. And I wanted to create a new brand, and I kind of fell upon it again, the coffee side of things. And then once I got into it, I realized how this whole new world of specialty coffee, I really didn't have an understanding of it. I think a lot of people like coffee, but they don't really know much. And then once they get into the specialized side of it, it's like, wow, it was eye-opening. And actually that's why I wanted to do this, because I went to a trade show and you learn so much of these events, and it just never reaches the consumer, you know? So it was really, it touched me, and I was like, all right, I gotta do this. I've gotta bring this down to the consumer level so that we can all share it. What we have here is a sample roaster. So we'll get samples, 100 grams or 200 grams of coffees, and we roast them on here first to basically see what the coffee has to offer. If we're liking it, we'll cup it against something else. If we like it, we'll buy it, and then basically we build profiles from there. So it'll give us an idea of what we can find in the coffee before we go to the larger machine. Obviously you can't put 100 grams in there, and so you need something small to kind of profile. This is our bagging machine, so after we've packaged the coffee, we put it through a heat seal on this conveyor belt. This is just another style of espresso machine, a prosumer machine that someone might have at their house. And then this is what we make cold brew in. So it's a fermentation tank to make the cold brew, and yeah. That's that. Obviously over here is the big roaster, the commercial machine. Not commercial, but production, I should say, production machine. Where coffee goes in the top, you let it drop in, it's turning in here, it's roasting, cooking. When it's done, you open up the mouth and it falls into the cooling tray. And the cooling tray is where it basically sits for about 4 minutes. You have it to cool it down. And then when it's done, you open up the hatch and drop out the beans into buckets, and then you weigh them. I am, and I have a couple, or 3 silent investors, I guess. They're not that silent, they help me out, but they're not here, they're around the world. But basically, yeah, again, like I started roasting a while ago, I had this idea of what I wanted to do, and I wanted to basically bring this coffee to the public. You know, not just in the industry side of things, but so the public can experience what coffee's all about, its story. And so I guess it was my idea, and then it developed from there. I mean, not to say that there's not a lot of specialty coffee roasters out there, so it's not my idea, but that was kind of my take on it, how I wanted to do it. At the moment, it's the general public, honestly. Like, we're new, and we're basically trying to get our footing and our foundation, reaching to the general public and storytelling. But the brand itself is about distribution, and so reaching out to other cafes, other individuals, hotels, restaurants, whoever is interested in elevating their coffee game and doing something a little different, more unique than commercial coffee. Balancing work and life, and getting a new brand off the ground. I mean, it's a lot of work, obviously, as anyone who's tried to start something. Marketing at this point has been a bit of a challenge as well, so this will hopefully help. Yeah, and just, I don't know, what's been challenging? Cash flow, but I think that's with any new business too, right? Balancing what you need to pay off and keeping your cash flow so you can stay current. So Actually, it's quite funny because having started this cafe and working with these lovely people, it's the experiences you have with the public. You know what they think of the coffee, how they perceive it, and you know when you're involved in the buying side of it, the roasting side of it, the serving side of it, like brewing. And it's like the whole gauntlet, except for the biggest part, which is the part that we're here to tell, which is the farming side of it. You know, that back end side. So just to hear everyone's take on it and how happy they are, or even if they don't like something, you know, just getting that feedback and being able to use it and to make something better. So it's quite rewarding, if you will. But so yeah, I didn't really have that in the past. Now it's like right in front of you. So it's definitely different. Just their comments about the coffee, saying it's a masterpiece or saying this and that. It's just like, wow, okay, well, thank you, but you know, it's coffee. You know? But just again, like just the feedback, the perception, or how they see it. So it's been good. And I think this space too, people really enjoy it and they like learning about coffee, and that's what I was hoping. You know, some people call it the museum, but to me, it was just more a matter of giving the story of coffee so people know why specialty costs more. You know, they start to learn about it and they can understand it better, and that's unique. You know, often you go into cafes, you'll get great coffee and you'll get great service, but there's no way to bridge the gap between why it's like that and what you're getting. You know, and so I think that's a little different, which is nice because people appreciate it. Not everyone, but those who care will. So. We are doing events on some Saturdays, or actually weekdays now, we're going to change it, but it's basically, we'll do coffee cuppings, so a coffee tasting essentially, where you get to try different coffees side by side. And I think that's when people really appreciate the difference between them, they stand out, versus just going to your cafe, having your one coffee, you can taste it, but when you have them side by side, the differences is quite remarkable. Also doing things such as different brewing styles. We'll take 1 or 2 coffees and brew them on all the different styles. So whether it's a mocha pot, AeroPress, V60, espresso. And again, it's another way for someone to say, all right, I really like this style. This is the interpretation of the coffee through this method versus that one. So just different things like that to, again, give people an opportunity to experience something that they're not used to doing, you know. Not everyone, but many people have gone to wineries, do wine tastings. This is something similar on the coffee side of things, you know, so, or a whiskey tasting, if you will. Yeah, actually, we sometimes, like last weekend, we put on a new coffee. So something that we're interested in buying, but we haven't committed to it yet, and just getting some feedback from some of the clientele and what they think of it. I mean, we have our own opinions, but it's nice to have, obviously, your customer, the end user, so, you know, and it brings everyone in, some more involvement. So it's nice. We will announce them on Instagram or on our website. It's not habitual, it's not every Tuesday or every Saturday. We're doing them when we can manage with the staffing levels and whatnot. So, and we don't want to do them every week. You want them to be something special. So just tune into our Instagram or come check out our website. And there's a link on the events tab and you can see there, or the blog. So the industry here in the last, I don't know, since I've moved here basically, 7 or 8 years, has progressed a lot. It's one of the bigger cities for coffee, specialty coffee in Europe. Nomad, one of the founders, one of the first, is probably the biggest here. And again, they opened up probably, I want to say 9 years ago, 10 years ago maybe, I don't know. And really helped push the movement. And that was the time when, you know, Berlin and other cities had a scene, but here it was, you know, infant. Now there's a lot of roasters, a lot of specialty coffee, and it's more, how do you say, the norm for people. You don't get the sticker shock you did before on price, you know, like you can justify why you're selling coffee for €2.70, €3 or whatever it is. It's because we're paying more for it, you know. It's a quality product that farmers need to be, you know, making what their efforts are worth. So that was harder a while ago because the Spanish history with coffee hasn't been the best, but that's definitely changed. Madrid's catching on. A lot of different cities are kind of up in the game. So yeah, it's quite a unique city for it. And when people come here, they're looking for it. So it's quite nice. Please follow us on Instagram and social media.